Joining me at Moneypenny headquarters today is none other than Ed Mead of Viewber. Ed, part of the ICG group, so you've been part of all this collaborative effort for the past couple of years. What has it delivered for you?
That's a very good question, and one we're all here to find out. A large part of it, I think, is working out what all the other people do. So there are a lot of Proptech firms out there. They've thinned out over the last 4 or 5 years, and the core that's left, it's quite important to understand what they do and how we can all help each other. Collaborating means obviously helping each other. That's the definition of the word.
Yeah.
So I can't really work out what I can do at Viewber with other people unless I know what they do. So a day like this does wonders for actually getting right inside some of these other businesses.
And talking about what you do at Viewber, for people that have been living under a rock, and I know the clue is in the title here, but what is it that Viewber do to help estate agents?
Well, it's interesting you should say that, actually. I mean, the view bit of Viewber is mildly misleading, actually, insofar as the majority of our work is actually property checking and property inspecting. But from a day-to-day perspective, what we do is, I'll tell you what the best way of thinking about it is, when you go and see a property with a Knight Frank or a Savills out of London, the chances are that it won't be a Savills or Knight Frank employee that shows you around. It'll be one of their local viewing representatives.
Yeah.
Think of what we do as a sort of freelance version of that, so you can book it when you like. We're approaching 300,000 of these things. That clearly works.
Yeah.
And we've learned to represent estate agents' brands. We've learned what they need. We provide, for instance, Sprift reports to all our viewers. Sprift as a company people will be reading about or seeing on this. They provide property data, and our viewers are local. So the idea of thinking of us as well-informed freelance local viewing assistants is probably a pretty good way of thinking about what we do.
Because it really represents the agent, and an agent doesn't need to worry, therefore, about sort of outsourcing that, because those people are local. They're turning up with knowledge about the property. Those Sprift reports are great to be able to hand out to prospective buyers and renters. So really, you've taken care of that personalisation as well.
Well, I think so. I wish a lot of the people watching this would agree, but it's definitely still a barrier. Estate agents have this. A lot of them are run by people like me, middle-aged men, whatever, who are quite resistant to change, but they are changing. So, from my perspective, the reputational image that we can portray has been proved by the longevity of what we've been doing at Viewber and the number of appointments we're doing. We're now up to 12,000 a month of these things. So it's really. It clearly works for a lot of people, and if you haven't tried it, I'd really urge people to go and try it, just check it for themselves.
It's a fabulous service, and it really does sound like the feedback that you're getting is phenomenal as well. You've got a lot of experience in the property industry, and we spoke last night about attitudes changing. But if I was starting out as an estate agent today, I was embarking on day one of my estate agency career, what advice would you be giving me?
Well, I think that would slightly depend on your age, but assuming you're going to be quite young doing that.
Yeah.
I'm a bit older than you, but neither of us are spring chickens. And if you were starting out afresh, I would say apply some of the skill sets you've learned in tech growing up for communicating, looking for information, services. A lot of people, my kids, for instance, they're 28 now, but they will still use Deliveroo, all the sort of things that we would never have thought about when we were, certainly when I was young. So I would say to someone, if they're starting out, don't be afraid, or use some of the skill sets you've acquired for communicating and for want of a better expression, outsourcing. I'm not sure I like that word, but nevertheless, outsourcing your service. Be bold, use some of this stuff. I mean, Peter Knight, who's here today, was standing on a stage not that long ago and said that, by 2030, estate agents could only need one employee, because actually you can
get a lot further,
outsource so much stuff, whether it's prospecting or data or marketing or viewings or sales progression, whatever it is, you can do all of those things with outsourcing. So I would say, if you're young, use the skill sets you've learned and apply them and try and look forward rather than back.
Superb. Ed, thanks for taking the time to talk to me.
Thanks, David.